Actually, I think that the main way to be rich is to change your mind, like change the way you think.
Yeah.
And that either happens by things like this, as in listening to this and now learning more things, or being in environments where you can osmosis things.
Yeah.
Which is why in another podcast this would be, you mentioned working for a smaller business where you're closer to the CEO, so that you're able to be in those environments where you're seeing how the higher ups operate.
Yeah.
You might think one way, but then when you have a conversation with the CEO, you realize he does things in a nuanced way.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just wanted you to touch on the attitudes of a millionaire. I don't know how much you want to say about your line of work, but just more on the point of things that you've noticed that the rich do, that or the wealthy do, that doesn't happen in the hood.
Absolutely. So, I mean, so two things anyway, right? I'll say this, right? Firstly, in the first category of the people that are millionaires are very studious. They like to learn new things, and they have adopted a lifestyle of, what do I need to know to increase my value? What do I need to know so I can become a better person? What do I need to learn? So they're constantly learning. They're very studious people, but also equally, because when you're very studious, when you're very studious and you're very curious anyway, so you always want to know things, it invariably makes you become an excellent person. You're excellent in all areas. So what that means is that things like, your timekeeping and just the way you carry yourself, you're just excellent. People look at you and stuff like that. You just have certain things together, right? They have a characteristics of just being very sort of always ready for anything, especially the clients and stuff that I've met over the years and I've worked with and stuff. They're very excellent about certain things. On the other hand, people that are perhaps not so wealthy or, poor really, I would say, they just adopt a very laissez-faire, lazy, I don't care approach. Yeah, it is what it is kind of approach, right? So let me give you a very simple example here. So two things. So one guy, early this year, 2022, a friend of mine said to me, mate, let's meet up for coffee. I really want to ask you some questions about finances and stuff. So first thing I did was get my phone out. I said, right, when are we meeting? Let's just schedule it in, right? So I scheduled it in right there. He saw me. I used my diary, scheduled it in and stuff like that. And I said, no problem, right? So this guy, he forgot to write it down. Like, he didn't write it down and stuff. So on the day, I actually was in the coffee shop because I'm so busy. I've got things going on. And so if we agreed on something, we don't need to confirm again. I mean, if we have to confirm again, something's gone completely wrong, right? And so anyway, I ring the guy and said, where are you? He wasn't even at the cafe. He completely forgot, right? So I've literally wasted 2 hours of my day and stuff like that. Actually, not only did he forgot, he's actually, I think he was just about to leave the country or something like that. I think so it's like, what is this about? And it's just that lifestyle, and actually his, so okay, that's just way how time management is good. It's all over the place. But then also this specific person, I remember just seeing him at an event, and I bumped into him at an event and stuff like that. And again, just the way that they dress, it's not talking about what they're wearing, the color they're wearing. Nobody cares about that. I mean, I'm thinking no millionaires, anyone obviously cares about that so much, but they just come across as almost like they're not put well. They're not well. They're wearing the tie, and they don't care. The tie's not undone, and different things like that. They just look like, they don't want to be there. You know what I mean? There's just this attitude or this look about them, and I'm not really making an effort here. Well, another friend of mine who is a millionaire, he's 30 years old and his family's worth 2.1 billion. He's a very, very wealthy man. We had a meeting with him. So this meeting was scheduled, I think, 5 months ago. He sent me a calendar invite. So this is not like a business meeting. This is just a general chat, right? Millionaires use diaries and calendars for everything. Their lives are organized. They know what the day is. If you wake up today and you don't know what you're doing today and stuff like that, right? You're already on a back foot. I'm not saying you can't make an impact, but you're already on a back foot. You start. I personally, for example, my week starts on a Sunday night. On Sunday night, I just look at my diary. I got XY meetings and stuff like that. So I think that's like 70% done. I know how my week is going to play out, and then throughout the week, things kind of drop in here and there. But this particular guy, we had this meeting. I think we booked the meeting back in October for Feb, which is we're in this month, 2022. So anyway, we booked the meeting Feb. We never had any real communication between that. Again, it was in my diary. I just turned up to the restaurant, and there he was. He was there. He was there half an hour before me. He sat there, newspaper there already, and not only that, he had a notepad with him and he had a pen. 5 months ago, we didn't really confirm the meeting and anything. It was already there. The amount of people that I'm talking 2022, where are we now? Feb. So the last 2 months, the amount of people that I've scheduled meetings with that I'm having to call before the meeting. Hey bro, hey, are we still on? And so, I forgot, and different things like that, right? That is one of the reasons why they're not wealthy, because it's not about the money itself. I know, they're probably, hopefully, they are better on their jobs and different things like that. Maybe on a personal level, they don't see it that important. But again, this example I gave you about this other wealthy guy, that was a personal chat. That wasn't a business thing, but it seeps into every area of their life, the way they conduct their business and their personal lives, which is they're just organized. I know a business a person, for example, as I said, this German business guy I know, he wears the same thing. He wears a blue jeans, I kid you not. He has this brown jumper and he's got a black jacket and he's got a backpack, right? He is probably, he's dressed, you can probably understand it. He's a tech guy. And, but again, when the way he dresses and stuff, I'm not talking about, him, wearing a shirt and tie and being like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's a certain way, as I'm saying, that even the way he dresses, although he's not dressed in the nines or wearing a tuxedo every time and stuff like that, it's like he's ready. He's mean business. He's like, he likes to wear the same thing. That's him. He's like, look, I don't want to think about clothes. Clothes is not my thing. I'm not into fashion. And he just wears the same thing. But when you see him, there's something about him. Maybe it's not the clothes. Maybe I'm not being explained, but it's just an aura about him that he carries himself like he's ready to learn. Every time we sit down talk about anything, there's a notepad there. There's something there. So when I talk to people and every time I say something, they're writing something down. These are the skills that it compounds, by the way. It grows over time. That makes someone wealthy, because you will probably have to go through 1 billion one of those conversations, 1,000 one of those conversations, kiss many, many frogs along the way, but there will be one that you stumble on that will literally change your life and your future for the entirety of your life. Not because you planned, you knew when that was going to come. It's because you just kept busy. It's in the activity. And some people, they just don't do enough of the right things, right? And also, last point about the major thing that I see in millionaires or like astronomically wealthy people in their general characteristics is that they just don't associate themselves with losers, right? You see a lot of people, what's a loser mean? A loser is someone that always complains about something going wrong. They complain about, why this and that. Is because the system is racist, the system is broken, and then they don't have enough because it's always someone else's fault. It's always somebody else's system that's this. I didn't get the opportunity or different thing. That is their mindset. And because of that, they will never have anything in their life, because you always think someone else who should have come and rescued you or someone else, because the reason why you're not there is because of that. Don't get me wrong, racism is real. There are some really stupid people out there that are deeply racist. They will never admit it, but they're racist. Hands down. I've seen it in my own 2 eyes. The people are racist. But at the same time, racist or not, you got to have that sort of self-determination spirit about you, and a lot of people do. And so I say a lot of millionaires or wealthy people do. To them is, what can I do to change this? I don't like my financial situation. I'm poor. I want to improve and stuff like that. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to speak to? What do I need to work on? And so it's about this inward looking, this constantly looking to fix me. You know what I mean? and then before they realize, they lift themselves up. Their skill set is just, crazy, and the value is up to here, and therefore the market values them. The market has a high valuation of them, and therefore they're making all the money and doing very well for themselves and stuff like that. It's really, really that simple. It's that simple. Most people that are poor, they hate to learn. They probably read on average less than 5 books a year. They're not into TED Talks and stuff like that. So all in all, I'll say this and stuff like, poor people love entertainment, rich people like to study something, right? If we could do some sort of examination of wealthy people, they'll probably listen to podcasts and even on Netflix, it's about documentaries, about something that will feed my brain and my soul. It's more of that. Yeah, there's elements of entertainment in there, don't get me wrong. But absolutely. Whereas poor people, they can tell you everything that's going on in celebrities' lives and, what's going on Love Island or whatever. All of these completely pointless things. They add zero value to your life. They don't increase your bottom line. They don't, you know what I'm saying? It's completely waste of time. And celebrity, the idea of what a celebrity is in itself, it's a completely pointless thing, right? But they don't understand that. And then all of these, and then they wonder why they are poor. Now, again, if poor is what you want, then I guess it's easy to get more of that, right?
And even that last point, that's one of my biggest gripes, where I see people watch. Again, the reason why vlogs are out there is because they know that they can get the views to get the money. But the fact that you're watching someone live their best life whilst you're in debt, struggling to pay bills, and yet every week you're dedicated to watching that vlog and seeing how she's living her best life in a new house and going to this vacation, and you've never been out of your borough for the last 5 years, but you're watching this vlogger here, this vlogger there. It's almost like, I know there's this one psychological study that I watched that said if you think about the end goal too much, your body almost acts like you're there, and so you don't feel like you need to go there, because all the emotions of you dreaming about being famous, you're starting to feel that now, and so you feel like, there's no point. Subconsciously you think there's no point, and you almost get that feeling with the vloggers. Like when you watch someone live their best life, it's almost like you feel like you're there with them, and so you forget where you actually are for a second, and so then you never really feel like learning to actually be there. You just watch the next episode to now, and that's how I feel like they get very attached to these vloggers, where I need my next high of feeling like I'm rich by just watching your thing.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, that whole celebrity sort of, talking about wealth anyway, some people think that all celebrities are wealthy. And therefore, if I become a celebrity, I also have a lot of money. But as what you said, right, these people are almost like, think about how a celebrity gets money and stuff. It's all about sponsorship. They have no real control. They have no real control over their assets or anything. Well, not say assets per se, but even their music or ownership or anything like that. They need to be seen to be driving a lot of traffic and clicks and interest from the public to be able to earn money. So even the reason why they look like they're wealthy, because they need to be seen to be successful, for people to be interested in it, because people don't think they're interested, but he's interested, or they're good looking, or they're this and this and that, and therefore they get the followers and the likes and everything else and stuff like that, and then on that basis then they make money and stuff like that. And that model is completely flawed, right? It's absolutely completely flawed at all. Now, doing that to generate money to then build your own stuff, but with the view of one day owning something that can be scalable, you can, as we talked about all the S's earlier and stuff like that, and that's fine, because that is a means to an end. This is not the end. This is not, this is not like the end. This is not everything. But again, that model of celebrities and stuff like that, oh my goodness, it's completely pointless. And And
what's interesting is that, and linked to something else that you said, I can imagine in wealthy communities, there's, like you probably said, there's probably little entertainment being watched, And the truth is that if everyone had a wealth mindset, there would probably be no celebrities, because the celebrities feed on the binging of the poor and in mindset.
Yeah,
just
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That I mean, I went to. So I grew up in Belgium when I was a kid, and I went to a private school there, and the community that way was a very, very small community in Antwerp, Belgium. And my goodness, a lot of the kids I went to school were extremely, extremely wealthy. I mean, my parents were doing quite okay, well for themselves anyway, but these kids were, insane, man. The families had like 3-4 Rolls Royces and stuff. So growing up, that's the kind of people I grew up around with and stuff. And I remember I remember there was a time, I think when we have like half term or some days of school and stuff, my dad would let me sort of stay with my friends for a couple of days, or sometimes I'd just go over there for the whole day, and then my dad would come pick me up and stuff. And it was just amazing, even on holidays and even time off schools, like the amount of work these kids or my friends, they had to do. Like they will have like a private tutor after school. They will have a music teacher that's teaching them something. They'll read in. The family will be at the table talking about dad's business or family businesses. So entertainment it's not saying it was like disallowed or anything like that. It was just, you were so busy. You had very little time for it. That's my whole point. It's like, everybody likes entertainment. Most people enjoy music, going out, having a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But when you're so busy, you have very, very little time for it. And that's why these people are so successful the way they are. I mean, I think of one particular guy I grew up with. This guy so literally after school finished about, in Belgium, I don't know, I think it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock or something like that. Literally after that, he had Arabic lessons. So you had to go to like another Arabic school to learn Arabic, or to, I don't know, obviously to speak or to be more fluent, I suppose, in Arabic, and that sort of thing. I think that was like one of the days. Then he had violin lessons, and then another day he had piano lessons, and every single day he had like tutoring and stuff. And then so he had Arabic lessons, tutoring, and then he had music, and then tutoring again, and then he had swimming after school as well. So literally, I think from Monday to Friday after school, for like when he's at home and he's able to like do like relax, was like maybe 8 p.m. every day. Mm-hmm. And obviously he probably eat and stuff like that. Then he had family time to eat. So probably from 8:30 he was like free. He was a kid. You know what I mean? He was a kid right now, right? Mm-hmm. And he was working so hard. I mean, I don't think he felt like he was working hard, just because his family just became normal. It was him, his sister, his other brother. They all did it. Today, this same person, I was told by one of my other friends that he moved to LA. He founded a pharmaceutical company that was acquired, I think, 2007, about 5 years ago. It was acquired 5 years ago. I think another major company came and acquired what they were doing, and he sold it. Apparently, I think something for like $2 or $3 billion, and stuff like that. And last time I checked, he's still working for the same company. He's a managing director there. He still owns shares, but he sold it, so he's got all this cash and stuff like that. So I, hand on my heart, know a billionaire. I know a guy that is a billionaire that we went to school with. He's a friend of mine, and stuff. But it's completely different attributes in terms of learning. Anyway, learning is like we did this. It was fun. It was like we had to improve. We had to know this. Most wealthy people know a lot. No, the reason why even you talk about even fashion, right? I know fashion moves like Louis Vuitton is pointless, spend a lot of money. The reason why a lot of these apparels company, the luxury brand, are so expensive, because the makers spend so much time putting all these art and all these intricacies and stuff like that, and then they price them at a price that they think is valuable. But for most people to be able to buy them, right, you obviously have to have the money. You have to obviously be wealthy. But the wealthy appreciate those wealthy things because they understand those things. Right? So I'm not talking about Louis Vuittons and all these major brands and stuff like that. Those are mass-produced luxury. So when you wear those, you think, oh, that's wealth. Right? But let me tell you something. In London, in central London, in Mayfair, Next to this prestigious hotel called Claridge's, next to it, there's an art shop, right? This art shop is owned by this billionaire. I've been in there a few times. There are paintings there that is there. There's a visual you can literally feel, you can see, you can touch it. The painting's going for about £1 million plus. There's a French painter recently that did some really intricate sort of painting and stuff like that. And it's been sold for £1 million. Now you think £1 million, if I had my debit or credit card, I gave him £1 million, I'll walk away with it. No, it's for display. There's a waiting list for that £1 million. So the price is not going nice, £1 million, but you have to apply it and the waiting list has got over 100 people that's waiting to spend £100. So literally £100 million is ready to be spent if they can print 100 times. That is insane. But why is millionaires and wealthy people buying it? Because of knowledge, because they understand culture, they're very cultured. They understand these things. For most people, they look at it as boring. Painting, don't get me wrong, I think it's a boring painting. I look at that, I wouldn't put that anywhere. But because they understand it, so when you study and you're an avid or you're keen into reading and studying, so it just opens your mind. You become more knowledgeable, more understanding, and actually you make more money, and also you spend on things that that mean something to you. And also very, very like most millionaires as well wear clothes that you look at and think absolutely boring, but actually they have very little items, but everything that it has a meaning to them, right? So I know a shoe that one of my clients wears, and that shoe is £7,000. The leather shoes is handmade in a company in Texas. Shoe looks like any old tacky shoes that you can get. I mean, there's nothing about it. It's one of those brown shoes that you can wear with jeans or anything. It's not like a super smart shoes and stuff. But he's had his shoes for 10 years plus. And he's going to keep having these, probably pass the shoes down. Again, it's not about the outward expression of wealth. It's about the meaning to them. It's got all these signed, handmade, leather, this and that. So true wealthy people, they're very quiet with their lives, their money. But everything means something to them because they understand that money is because of value. When they spend the money, they only spend because I'm getting value out of something. And therefore, everything is value to them. No problem there. But it's not this perception where you see what they're going out there always in shopping handbags and 10, 20 bags. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people like that. They have money that do live like that, obviously. But majority of people are very quiet, very frugal. Frugal in some areas, but they still live in very nice houses and drive very lovely car because they base everything on value. If I'm not getting value from it, I'm not spending it. And if I'm going to make money because I got value, everything is understanding of meaning to them.